Welcome everybody to our group call for the 2nd of March. Hope you've all had a good weekend. Quite a theatrical weekend if you've been following US events. We didn't have a very successful trading week last week with the game plan, which was quite disappointing. We'll go through that a bit in a moment too. But in the meantime, let's have a look at our agenda for the day. Oh, actually, this is the signal chart. So the signal chart, it is, if you guys have been following it today, this, as the market opened, there's obviously a lot of activity in the beginning, but as soon as the price starts finding its rhythm, the market starts taking effect, we already started seeing some really good signals generated from it, price breaking down, breakout market being left behind, breakout market being left behind over there. And then the blue one has just reset. So it failed at that breakout market, and now this is the new location for it. So pretty awesome signal chart. And we covered a lot of the signal chart in our Jumpstart program for last week, which was really cool. And we'll look at that in a moment too. Okay, so as said, our performance. So, thanks to the guys posting in our groups. We've got 2 group chats. One is for personal results, just templates that you guys have been running. So thanks for posting that. I also posted some of my own results over there. Those chats are all available to everybody. Continuing on with our Jumpstart program. So, this has been such a phenomenal program for new members because it really got them, set up properly. It, got them to understand the system a lot better. And just looking quickly at our week 1. So, week 1, like we mentioned previously, just covering the complete setup, familiarizing yourself with the DTB system and, going through some of the indicator introductions, which was very cool. And then week 2, we went into, more of the tools and let me just get this up here. Yeah, more of the tools, more of the indicators, and then basically some homework for the week, ending the week. And then week 3, which was, the week we just completed now, that is, all regarding our signal chart. So, putting together a few of the indicator combinations, looking specifically at, the signal chart, like the show me the money signal chart, and the take and run signal chart. And what I actually did is I traded on the show me the money signal chart as well as the take it and run signal chart, just to explain the entries and the thought process that went around it. So that's pretty cool. And what we're also doing is the week ahead in the Jumpstart program, we're actually going to be going straight into the automated strategies. So that is going to be our focus for this week. So we're going to look at, setting up that game plan and also looking at it. So all the Jumpstart members for week 4, they are going to be, jumping into the automated strategies. Okay, so I'll just bring up so as far as updates are concerned, I just basically did some extra coding around the daily stops and targets and the trailing drawdown. So that is, a lot more fluid now. So that is working well. Let's look at our game plan for the week ahead. So I'm going to just share my screen again on this side. Let's see. I'm carefully pressing buttons this time because last time I messed things up. Okay, so looking at that. Okay, so Jumpstart members, it's important for you guys to really focus on this part because this is going to be about, setting up the game plan for the week ahead. So this is going to form your first video of week 4, which is going to be, really beneficial for you guys. And, the first thing we do is we look at our chat. So on Discord, we specifically have a chat over here called Game Plan. And in the game plan chat, it's just basically a notification chat to say, game plan ready for the week ahead or any updates to that game plan. So every day before your trading session, it's a good idea to review the game plan chat just to make sure that there aren't any new template updates, or there aren't any just other updates that may affect the game plan. So always have a look at that every session, before you start. And there's the link to the game plan. So that when you click on that link to the game plan, it's going to come up to this document. And this document is just basically explaining how to set up the game plan. Okay, and as usual, if there's any questions during the call, during the video, we can just pop it up in the group calls chat. So I'll be monitoring that throughout the session. Okay, so looking at our game plan for the week ahead, make sure you're on the 2nd of March assembly. So, all those in the Jumpstart program, you've got the beginning of week 2. So if you go to the week 2 folder, you'll see how to update to the new assembly. So that's basically just texted over here or listed over here as the steps. And then, the next thing we do is, we go to the simple setup, read next, please read. So this is always important to read for, the beginning of the trading week. And the first thing it says is to load up the workspace called Game Plan Trading Week Ahead. Okay, ignore or minimize the charts you will not trade. So the game plan, the Jumpstart, I'm going to put here Jumpstart members to trade micros. I'm going to just put here micros only. Okay, so obviously, a lot of new guys that have started a few weeks ago, they're going to jump into the automated this week. So we want to make sure they get a start, with the smaller contracts, especially, some of them might not have large account balances. And of course, you don't want to jump into, larger contracts when you are, freshly starting out with the DTB system. So I'm going to just put that as a highlight on this page. So, that's, to work with. Okay, so then it says read each page carefully, and the screenshots below show the strategy loader on each chart ready to trade. So it basically shows a screenshot of the chart and the historical performance of the chart. And then it says make sure your chart matches the screenshots before moving on, including the on-chart buttons. And it says that the baseline week trader strategy automatically pauses it automatically the buttons for baseline week trader strategy automatically pause when not inside trading hours, and start will automatically change to green when inside trading hours. Okay, so when you load up your baseline week trader strategy, you might see the button switch to gray, and that just means that it's not within the trading hours, and it will switch back to green. It's just on that strategy, so important to do that. Just checking the chat here. Okay, all right. There was another comment. All right, and then there's at the end of the document it says here this is what the workspace looks like with all charts at the end of the document. So that's going to just show you if everything has been loaded correctly. So let's go through that process. And the first one you're going to notice on here is we're going to load up the MNQ chart. So the first step we're obviously going to do is we're going to go to our control center. We're going to close off these workspaces. I'm going to actually save that. Okay, so we're going to go to workspace, game plan, trading week ahead. So that's the first step in the game plan document. Load up the workspace, game plan, trading week ahead. Okay, and once that's loaded, the very first one over here is the MNQ chart, which is the DTB Bars 50/30, and it says strategy use analytical strategy 1 micros. And you have to press the start button on this one. It's template 1 MNQ bars, DTB Bars 50/30. So that's what we're going to be loading up on that first chart. So analytical strategy 1 micros. So right click, we go to strategies. We go to analytical strategy 1 micros. We go template, and we go load, and we load up template 1. Load. This is where you're going to choose, after you've done that, choose which account you're going to put it on. So, in this example, I'm going to put it on Sim1. Going to click enable, apply, and OK. And, that is what the chart looks like on here. Now you notice my start button is green. This one is gray. Well, it says that you have to press start on this one. So you press start, you look at your performance on the chart, 2,400 net profit with a max drawdown of 353. You go and you compare that to this chart. It looks exactly the same. Okay, so next one. And, for the benefit too, I've included a trade performance. So on that page, if you're noticing any slight differences, what you can do over here is you can, right click on this, strategy performance, real time and historical. And, that over there is going to match, what this shows over here. So, it's definitely a benefit to have this because it's just making sure that everybody is, looking at the same information. Okay, so now that we've got that, we can close that. If you open up a trade performance, you can just close it and then minimize the chart. The second one is the MNQ 5030. So according to the game plan document, template 2. Okay, so MNQ chart is a 5030. DTB strategy used is DTB analytical strategy 3 micros. And we're loading template 2. Okay, so we're over here. We're going to go to the chart, go to strategies, and it is the analytical strategy 3 micros. So you double click on that, go to template, load, template 2, load, pop on your specific trading account that you're going to trade on. And the good thing about this is you can actually trade it on the same account. So on your live account or on a sim account, you can actually trade it on the same account. And that's because this strategy is trading a different time to the previous one. So this one's trading from 9:35 till 11, whereas the previous strategy is trading from 1 a.m. to 8 a.m. So it can run on the same account. Again, we're looking at our screenshot, and you'll notice, there's the settings. Okay, well, my button's not green, so I've got to press the green button to get it started. But then we're also looking at the performance. So 28, the 2863, 2857, 441. So same thing over here. We've got this historical performance. So you can switch over and look at that. Strategy performance, real time and historical. And you only really have to do this step if you are noticing that there's a big difference between, what the screenshot on the document is saying, compared to, your chart. Okay, so, you don't always have to do that on every strategy because, you'll see if those numbers are matching at the bottom, you can basically move on. Okay, so for the rest of the members, so that's basically the Jumpstart members. You're going to be running these 2 top charts this week because it's, it's on MNQ, it's low contracts, we're not entering a lot of trades, and it's a decent setup for the week ahead. So for the rest of the members, and even if the Jumpstart members want to run these, but run them on sim accounts especially. So we're going to go to template number 3. So again, on the chart, on the game plan document, it says the NQ chart is a 50-30. So, all the bar sizes are already there. You don't have to go and adjust them at all. They're all saved within the workspace that you have. So we're going to load the SI strategy 1 with template 3. So going over here, we're going to go to strategies. We're going to go to the SI strategy 1. We're going to go template and load, and we're going to load template 3, load, choose your account that you're going to trade on, and I'm going to switch mine to my live account later. apply and OK. Same thing over there. The results are there. So 43 with a 2.5 drawdown on the NQ, which matches that. And then our last one is our RTY. So again, referring to the game plan document, RTY is a baseline wick trader strategy with template 4. Okay, so we're going to go over here and go strategies, baseline wick trader strategy, template, load, and number 4. Load, and scroll down to your account section, enable, apply, and OK. So that is how simple it is to basically set up the game plan. So it's nicely provided over there. And there's also a screenshot at the end over here saying, once you've loaded up your game plan, this is what the workspace looks like with all the charts loaded. So then you can have as a double check at the end, you can just make sure that your charts are all looking like that. So going like this, you compare it to this and you sort it. That is all matching accordingly. So now your game plan is ready for the week ahead, which is pretty phenomenal because you've automatically just downloaded the templates. The workspace is all there. It's a 3 to 4 minute setup for each for the workspace, and then that can basically be run for the week ahead. Like I said, if there's any updates or changes, the game plan chat is going to alert you accordingly. So always make sure you have your notifications active for Discord, and just make sure that you always just check that game plan chat for the week ahead. So the game plan obviously is there, and I'm going to just put there reminder jumpstart members trade micros, MICRO micros this week. Okay, that's just like it's just a good place to go and look at notifications, right, for the game plan ahead. Okay, so get that out of the way. We're finished with the game plan now, so that's all good. We've got that all set up nicely, and you'll see that it went to gray, which is fine because the bar actually closed. Okay, so that was that one. I'm actually going to close my workspace because I'm going to go and reopen it again later on my live account. So I'm going to just close that. And very interesting, on the RTY template this week, we actually have no targets and stops. So before I close this, I just wanted to bring this one up. So on our game plan, you'll see in the strategy settings, excuse me. In the strategy settings, you'll see we've got the positions over there. But as you scroll down, the daily stops and targets aren't selected. So I see what Christopher's done over here, and thank you for this template, Christopher. All the strategies that revolve around the SI indicator, which is basically all the analytical strategies and all the SI strategies and the baseline wick trader, they all work off a similar tool, which is in the SI indicator. And, this indicator is designed for continuous trading and, just taking all signals. So he's basically adapted that approach over here with this template. So in saying that, if you are running this template this week, and you specifically want to make sure that you don't have any major drawdown, or this template doesn't go completely out of whack, which it shouldn't, because it's got very few trades. But a really good safety measure over here is you can say, you know what, I want to make sure that my trading account, because we've got this global money management over here, you can say, I want to make sure that my trading account, and that, like this one was on Sim 4 as an example, I want to make sure that my trading account does not have an account drawdown of more than $2,500. So then what this will do is it's linked specifically to that specific trading account. Okay, you've selected your account trading drawdown over there, and you enable that. So what will happen is, even though the strategy itself hasn't got daily stops and targets, your overall account will have. So your account will stop trading if, for example, that trailing drawdown gets in place. So that is a safety feature that you can have on the account level, but still having your strategy just trade as it's designed to trade, but then having that extra safety net there on the account level, on the account level. So that's a really good feature. Okay, so workspace, I'm just going to close this. So obviously don't close this if you've got it set up for the week ahead, because it won't trade. I want to bring up a chart very quickly. So this is just the next little thing in my in today's schedule, and I want to load up a 20 and an 80 chart. And I'm happy with 5 days, so we can go 3, that's fine. So somebody asked me last week, what is abnormal bar formation? And I'll bring up in my results, let me just bring up on my other screen over here. Okay, here we go. So on this last week, I think it was on Friday, I basically entered some positions over here. I posted a screenshot, and I made about $4,000 off these, off this trade that I entered. So, I looked at the bar formation, I looked at the support and resistance of where price was struggling, and then I looked at this type of setup. So when you have a bar go straight down, straight up, straight down, there's a very high chance that the price is going to continue in that direction, because this is basically taking out stops. Same thing over here. Price is going up, they're taking out stops before they push the price up. So quite often you could be looking at a chart and making pretty decent trading decisions based on what you are seeing. So if I just bring up this chart and I go to properties over here, I just want to get the margin correct. I don't know why this doesn't just save. It should automatically save. So if I choose a right side margin of 180, and I think I must just save it over here, right? Save. Okay, so what I'm saying about abnormal bar formation is this type of thing over here. So when you see the price go up and down immediately, trade the price down. Up and down immediately, trade the price down. I mean, it's actually happened so much today already. Up and down, trade the price down. And this is on any bar size. It's not just like on any bar, on this bar size. There's quite a few different bar sizes that you can actually use it on. But when you see something like that, and I'm actually in the process of, actually I'm lying, I'm not in the process. I'm contemplating creating an automated strategy that specifically acts on signals like this and calls it like, this is signal 1. And another thing will be signal 2, and another thing will be signal 3 and signal 4, and so on. So that when the chart has these specific formations, it calculates, it executes those specific signals, and then has a setup on the back end to manage stops and targets, as well as losing positions and all that. But you'll be very, very, very surprised looking at a chart like this. I mean, and I discussed this in detail on a previous call. Now, this is very basic too. Okay, so we're looking at a very basic setup. And if you go back and you actually count on your trading chart how often this very specific setup is successful, it is quite phenomenal. Here's the triple one. You see, here's the triple one over here. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. And there's your signal to go along. So it's a really cool little scalping hack that you guys can use. there's a few of the doubles over here. There's another double over there. Now, some of them don't obviously go very far. So what I'm planning on doing is executing creating a strategy that has a stops and targets, but if one is missed, the next one will have a slightly larger target or even extra contracts, to make up for it. But isn't it amazing how this constantly happens? So, and you can go back as far as you want, and you can actually go and highlight every single time that actually happened. And very seldom, like this one here, will obviously be a losing position if you did it over here. But the next time that signal came up, it made good profit. So by increasing the amount of trades on the next signal of the same type, you've actually made up for your losses and made a profit. And we haven't even included any of the breakout markers or anything like that. So, a setup like this, that's very, very basic, right? What we were looking at there. It's not with any of the tools. But as soon as you go and add in your breakout volume markers, and even the seconds one, any one you want to use, these are going to help you just make, just give you a better indication of how strong that signal is. So looking at this, I'm just going to choose these three as an example. Template and load. Okay. Now that's obviously going to only plot at the end. So we'll just give this a second to load. So we've got that, and then obviously we've got the Fibonacci level. So, when you're loading up the institutional support and resistance levels, you're loading up the volume analysis, which we're doing right now. It gives you extra confirmation to take positions. And, maybe some of those positions where you see this, it's like, okay, well, that's maybe, if the breakout marker is above, and there's also a Fibonacci level there, then maybe that specific signal would have failed. But like even this is giving us, there's the breakout volume markers. This is where volume has been pumped into the market. The price has moved on. There's 20, 40, 50 ticks profit. So this comes into play, and obviously these will update all the time as the price moves. But isn't that a pretty awesome way? And it just repeats all the time. This type of thing repeats because ultimately what they're doing, and the thing is you can't see this on a minute chart. If you load a 5-minute chart, you're not going to be able to see this very clearly. So because this has got guaranteed price levels, you're going to see exactly what they're doing. They're pushing the price out, pushing the price up, taking out stops, pushing the price up, taking out stops, pushing the price up. So, this repeats so much. So, that is, it's quite fantastic looking back at a chart like this. And like I said, the triple one, so there's a 4 over there, which is extremely unique, possibly around news. But, the 2s and the 3s often are going to be, extremely powerful. And, while this is forming, you don't enter like buy or sell immediately. You can put a limit order at the place where that bar would need to go to close. So I found that pretty interesting. And like I said, you can go to any data series. So let's, for example, go to let's go to a 40 and let's go 160. Okay, just monitoring the group calls. Interesting. The triple seems to be reversals while doubles are continuations. Yeah, that's very possible. Very possible. So there, I'm going to go remove. See, we don't know what their intentions are. The market, the big market makers. They are going to do what they're going to do, right? But like I said, on any chart that you load up, you're going to notice this type of thing happen. And, so what if it's only 2 or 3 bars profit? You're going to get like 4, 8, 12, 16. Maybe you're going for for 2 or 3 bars. It is so prevalent how, this comes into play. So while you're watching this in real time, and like I said, obviously not every single one of them is going to have the legs on it to go full on. But that's why I'm going to introduce a setting that the following trade is going to enter, more contracts. There's our triple over there. So, if you're really struggling with entering manual trades and you're struggling to adapt all the different signals and what the price is doing, load up something as basic as this. And I would definitely add, as a very simple thing, is your Fibonacci levels. Okay, so Fibonacci levels and the breakout volume are going to give you that real-time institutional support and resistance. So you can see if they're pushing the price up, pushing the price down, what sort of resistance are they facing when they do that? Is this going to be a failed signal or likely to be a failed signal? Or is this going to be, a potentially powerful signal? See, like this one here was right at a Fibonacci level. This one over here, you can see the price broke down, went up and down. There's the Fibonacci level over there. So the price went down. So going back and, we're looking at, there's the same thing over here. There's the 76.4. Price went up, failed at the Fibonacci level, went up. Failed at the Fibonacci level, went up. Now, this wasn't a double, but it's just showing you, okay, look, these are the levels that we need to look out for. Here is a major fail between 2 Fibonacci levels. See how goddamn powerful these Fibonacci levels are, because they're actually plotting those institutional support and resistance. And look how price beautifully bounced over there at that time. So I thought I would share that because, whenever I feel like just entering a few manual trades and it's like, I just want to jump in and out and I see a chart formation like that, I jump on it because I know that the chance of success of that is going to be very strong. Like over here, you can see there's a 76.4 Fibonacci level. Price went up, and obviously this is just after open, went up, and it broke below that Fibonacci level. Okay, the next one was over there, but you only targeted 2 or 3 candles. I mean, you can look at this for hours. I mean, you can literally go for hours, and you could load up the last month's worth of data and highlight all the signals that you can say were successful or were unsuccessful. I like using the square and the circle. So what this does is I mark all the ones with the square that would not have been successful, and all the ones with the circle that would be successful. And I use like 3 bars as the minimum value. So so remember, this is the signal. That's the first bar afterwards. The entry on that is going to be at at this level. So that's 1, 2, 3 bars profit. So that's how I basically look at this. Cool. So this is something for you guys to look at. Yes, another one over here. I mean, shit, it just happens continuously. So this is the benefit of obviously having, a setup where you have guaranteed price levels. You've got such a clear way of looking at the price that it becomes like an absolute no-brainer. I mean, you can load up any chart and you're going to see this happen on any bar size. So monitoring where those support resistance levels are, you can see we're now going to be going straight into Fibonacci levels over here. So the price is probably going to struggle over here. So, it's very, very helpful to be looking at this. Go back to that 2080. So 2080 I found to be a decent amount because you're looking at 20 ticks. You're looking at 20 ticks per bar or for the baseline. So each of the baseline bars is 20 ticks, and then that the large one is 80. So even if you have a 40 tick stop, so entering this, and I'll probably say 60 ticks. So I would go, okay, limit order over there, and you're gonna have, I mean, you can go and choose an 80 stop, or because that's 100, because it'll be there and there. But even if you want to go halfway up the candle and go to like a 60 like a 60 stop. So then you kind of are putting it in, a decent range. So you can have like a 60 stop and a 60 target. So like it's a 50-50 risk reward. So that's pretty decent. And I would probably go 60 stop and at least a 43 target, because obviously you're going to be using, you're going to be paying slippage and whatever, right? Commission. So you can't have 60 and 40. You've kind of got to have 60 and 43, or 57 and 43, because you're paying on both ends. So I thought I would cover that. I like this approach, and like I said, you can load up any chart at any time, and if you watch it for long enough, you're going to see this happen. So like I said, I'm going to create an automated strategy around this. And I mean, this is actually a very, very simple automated strategy for anybody to create. Even if you use the strategy builder, you can actually create a strategy for this. So why not play around with something like that? Why not play around with, creating an automated strategy with this, and then sending it through to me, and I'll obviously enhance it and add all the other stuff that needs to go with it. See, look how this price has struggled at the Fibonacci level. So this is why it's a very good idea to have these Fibonacci levels loaded, because it is giving you the institutional support and resistance. I mean, like I said before, people who do not have these tools, do not have these Fibonacci levels, they are at a serious disadvantage, because you are not seeing what the institutions are seeing. You're just seeing, some random crap that you've put together. This is proper institutional support and resistance. So that is what the benefit is of having the DTB tools. Okay, so what else did I wanted to cover on this call? Actually, that was about it. So let's have a much better week this week with the game plan. And take some time and look at a chart like this. 2080 on the MNQ. Enter a few scalping trades. It's like, wow, this is freaking awesome. And you try to be a bit mindful of where the Fibonacci levels are. Don't go and enter on every single candlestick break. I mean, I saw some idiot who tried to copy these bars, and they got an automated strategy that enters on every single baseline break, whatever they wanted to call it. So it's not advisable to go enter on every baseline break, but there's still a very high possibility of success with that. If you know where your support levels are, your Fibonacci levels are. So, even like worst case scenario, you enter the position over there. If you knew the Fibonacci levels were over there, you're going to put your stop above there. But, then what sort of target are you going to chase? Because remember, now you've got a much larger stop. Now you've got a 160, stop. So you got to make sure that you have at least, 160 target plus, and then what do you do when baselines break, or where Fibonacci levels are? Because remember, the price also is, going to move around near strong Fibonacci levels. Like there's some volume breakout markers being left behind. Look how these markers were left behind mid-bar, telling you, hey, there's a very good chance that this is going to be a bar break, and look, it's gone up. So having these confirmation tools and having the institutional support and resistance, I mean, look how close price came to that level. But having these, volume breakout markers, because remember, these markers are basically showing you where volume is being pumped into the market to make the price move. It's like serious, like this is where we are pumping in the volume, and we're going to make the price move. That's what the institutions are doing. So this is showing you that information on a very, very beautiful level without having too much complexities on the trading chart. Now, obviously, you can go and add a few more tools. As you become more and more comfortable with what you're working with, there's definitely a few other tools that you can use. And, one of the popular ones is like the DTB smoothing average. This is like a long stepping one. And it might be a case of just adjusting the, the values over there. 100 might be a bit high, but Yeah, that I knew that was going to be too high. Well, let's try an 80 because it's the bar size, and just see what that looks like. So there's a few different tools that you can use. That's probably again too wide, but generally, it's just a matter of applying some tools. It's still going to give you an overall view of where price is likely to fail. I mean, look at this one here around the Fibonacci level, and here, I mean, it's very key. So again, probably just adjusting the level slightly, and you'll get yourself a very good setup where it's just giving you slightly more confirmation of what's happening. So there we go. I mean, look how beautifully these signals, these ones that we loaded up a few minutes ago, the price has moved up 160, 170 ticks since those markers were left behind. So, I mean, there's so much power in the DTB bars, and not many people are really taking it to the level that it deserves to be taken. Look here, we're at now the institutional levels over here, a lot of Fibonacci levels. We're also at the smoothing average, so a good chance this bar is going to break down. It's going to break to the downside, just like it did over here. Or they might just be coming out, taking out some stops, and then they're going to push the price through. So there's these key things to look out for, and make some scalping trades. I mean, it's amazing how much success you can have just from a very, very simple setup like this. All right, so like I said, guys, if you haven't got the DTB system, man, serious disadvantage. Okay, guys, have a fantastic week. Let's see if we can kick ass with the game plan, and post some screenshots if you decide to use this approach. Entering some scalping trades on a chart like this. I would love to see what you guys can actually make of it. And, maybe there's some good indicator combinations that you can add. Obviously, we've added the breakout volume over here, which is extremely powerful, extremely powerful. And then we've also added the Fibonacci levels. And very often you're going to see the price is going to struggle around those levels, because obviously that's what the institutions know as support and resistance. So thank you guys very much. And we will be here same time, same place next week. Thanks, guys.